5 lessons from Michael Jackson's success. He was the most famous person on the planet, an artist who didn't just make music, but redefined it, a performer who didn't just dance, but seemed to defy gravity. Michael Jackson's talent was undeniable, a force of nature that captivated the world. But talent alone doesn't create a legend. It doesn't sell hundreds of millions of records. It doesn't tear down racial barriers, revolutionize music videos, and become permanent part of our culture. What if I told you that the secret to his global domination wasn't just his voice or his moves? What if it was a set of powerful mental frameworks he used to build himself meticulously into the king of pop? The world saw the glittering glove, the impossible spin, and the sold-out stadiums. But behind the curtain, away from the screaming crowds and flashing lights, was a mind at work. A mind that was consciously and relentlessly architecting its own reality. This isn't a story about a guy who was simply born for greatness. This is about a man who decided what greatness was and then bent the world to his vision. In this video, we're peeling back the layers of myth to look at the machinery of his mind. We're breaking down 5 key lessons from Michael Jackson's life that fueled his insane journey. Lessons you can use in your own pursuit of excellence. And the first one is the foundation his entire kingdom was built on. Lesson 1, the unshakable power of belief and visualization. Before the world believed in Michael Jackson believed in a version of himself the world hadn't even met yet. His success didn't start in a studio or on a dance floor. It started in the silent, focused theater of his own mind. He had this unwavering, almost spiritual conviction that his thoughts could shape his reality. He understood a principle many of us spend a lifetime trying to grasp. What you consistently hold in your imagination, you can eventually hold in your hand. In his autobiography, Moonwalk, he gives us a crystal clear window into this. He describes a ritual from his youth, long before Thriller would rewrite the record books. He wrote, "Ever since I was a little boy, I had dreamed of creating the biggest selling record of all time." This wasn't some vague hope. It was a specific, spoken goal. He'd stand by a swimming pool, stretch his arms out as if sending a signal to the universe, and state his wish. He'd tell himself, "This is my dream, this is my wish," and then dive into the water as if to seal the deal with destiny. This wasn't just daydreaming. It was a sophisticated mental workout. Jackson was programming his subconscious mind, that powerful gut instinct part of our brain that works tirelessly behind the scenes. He knew that by feeding it a clear, emotionally charged vision again and again, his subconscious would start aligning his thoughts, his creativity, and his actions to make it happen. It would serve up the ideas, the melodies, the concepts, the building blocks of his future. He said it himself, "I believe we are powerful, but we don't use our minds to full capacity. Your mind is powerful enough to help you attain whatever you want." This mental work was so vital that he surrounded himself with it. He famously scribbled affirmations and goals on mirrors, papers, and any surface he could find. One handwritten note was a manifesto of his own creation. "MJ will be my new name. No more Michael Jackson. I want a whole new character, a whole new look. I will be a perfectionist, a researcher, a trainer, a master." He didn't just want to be a star. He wanted to become a new, incredible actor, singer, dancer that will shock the world. Imagine the sheer force of will it takes to write that. It's a contract with yourself. The most potent example of this came after his 1979 masterpiece, Off the Wall. The album was a smash hit. It was brilliant. It was groundbreaking, but it didn't win the Grammy for Record of the Year. For Michael, this wasn't just a letdown. It was a personal insult to the reality he was trying to build. He was deeply hurt and said that it was totally unfair that Off the Wall didn't get Record of the Year, and it can never happen again. That wasn't a statement of defeat. It was a command. He took that feeling of being overlooked and turned it into rocket fuel. He went back to his inner world of visualization, but this time the goal was even bigger. He channeled all of that fire into creating Thriller. And 3 years later, he didn't just win Record of the Year, he won a stunning 8 Grammy Awards in a single night. tying the record for the most ever won by an artist in one evening. He had visualized it, declared it, and then willed it into existence. He taught us that your inner world creates your outer world. Before you can achieve something, you have to become it in your mind. Lesson 2. Study the masters to become greater. Michael Jackson's genius wasn't born in a vacuum. It was the result of intense study and an endless curiosity to figure out what made the greats great. He lived by a simple, profound philosophy. The greatest education in the world is watching the masters at work. While others saw competition, Jackson saw a library of excellence, and he planned on checking out every single book. He was an obsessive student, a cultural historian who deconstructed the magic of his idols to create something brand new. From his earliest days at Motown, a young Michael could be found in the wings of the stage, not just watching, but analyzing. His mother would wake him up at all hours to see James Brown on TV. He was hooked. Jackson later said, "When I saw him move, I was mesmerized. Right then and there, I knew that that was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life." He'd study Brown's electrifying stage presence, his gut-punch vocals, and of course, that impossibly fast footwork. He wasn't just copying moves. He was dissecting the energy, the passion, the soul of the performance. But his curriculum was huge. He didn't stop with musicians. He studied the effortless grace and storytelling of dancers like Fred Astaire and Dean Kelly. In fact, it was from Astaire's routine in the musical Bandwagon that the seeds of Smooth Criminal, from the look to the vibe, were planted. After seeing Jackson's iconic Motown 25 performance, Astaire himself called him up and said, "You're a hell of a mover. You put the audience on their ass last night." The student had earned the master's respect. His studies went beyond dance. He analyzed the silent comedy and physical storytelling of Charlie Chaplin, learning how to convey a universe of emotion without saying a word. He absorbed the showmanship of Sammy Davis Jr. He even looked outside of performing, studying the creative vision of Walt Disney and the production genius of Motown founder Berry Gordy. But here's the critical part. Jackson never just imitated, he synthesized. He took James Brown's raw energy, mixed it with Fred Astaire's narrative elegance, added a dash of Chaplin's timing, and filtered it all through his own unique soul. The result was a style that was 100% his, yet felt so powerful because it stood on a foundation of proven greatness. He'd watch tapes of his own performances like a coach, picking them apart, frame by frame. "My shoulder was off," he'd say. "That turn wasn't sharp enough." Think about the moonwalk. While it became his signature, he was always quick to credit its roots, saying he saw kids doing it on street corners and acknowledging dancers from decades before. He didn't invent the move, but he perfected it, named it, and gave it a global stage. He took a piece of raw material and, through his obsessive study, turned it into pop culture gold. This lesson smashes the myth of the lone genius. Michael Jackson shows us that innovation isn't about creating something from nothing. It's about being a hungry student. Absorb everything, take it apart, understand how it works, then add your unique voice and build something new. As he said, the idea is to take it a step forward and to innovate, or else why am I doing it? Don't just admire the greats, study them, understand them, and then challenge yourself to go even further. Lesson 3, the unrelenting engine of work ethic. There's a dangerous myth around transcendent talent, that it's all effortless, a gift from the heavens that just happens. Michael Jackson's life is a powerful, screaming rebuttal to that idea. He understood a fundamental truth that speaking your goals into existence has to be followed by working them into existence. His belief was the spark, but his insane work ethic was the inferno. Collaborators, engineers, artists, they all use the same words to describe him: relentless, obsessive, a perfectionist. He was, in the words of one colleague, a machine. This wasn't a switch he flipped later in life. It was drilled into him in the Jackson 5. His father, Joseph, pushed the boys with a tough, often brutal discipline. But where that might have broken others, Michael absorbed the core lesson. You only get what you put in. He just turned that external pressure into an internal, all-consuming fire. He once said, "A lot of people are so used to just seeing the outcome of work, they never see the side of the work you go through to produce the outcome." For Michael, that side of the work was a place of total dedication. Studio engineer Brad Sundberg recalled that Michael would show up 2 hours early for every single vocal session just to warm up. 2 hours every time. That's the definition of a pro. In the studio, his perfectionism was the stuff of legend. He didn't just sing a chorus once and have the engineer copy-paste it. He sang every single chorus on every single take with full-blown energy. The iconic sound of Billie Jean wasn't a happy accident. His longtime engineer, Bruce Swedien, famously mixed the song 91 times. They ended up using mix number 2, but the fact that he was willing to do 89 more, just to be sure, tells you everything you need to know about his refusal to settle. This drive touched every part of his art. For the Thriller album, he and Quincy Jones listened to over 600 songs just to find the right ones. When they felt the album was missing a rock edge, Quincy tasked Michael with writing a ghetto rock and roll song. The result was Beat It. He didn't wait for inspiration, he hunted it down. His rehearsals for live shows were brutal. He practiced not until he got it right, but until he couldn't get it wrong. For the Dangerous tour, he would run through the entire physically punishing 2-hour show multiple times in a row. Even when his team was exhausted, convinced the take was perfect, Michael's voice would often be the one to say, "Let's do it again." Maybe the most telling thing is what happened after his biggest wins. After his historic 1993 Super Bowl halftime show, a performance that completely changed the game, he didn't party. He didn't rest. He immediately started pushing for what was next. Success was never a finish line, it was just a new starting line. As he said, if you're satisfied with everything, you're just going to stay at one level and the world will move ahead. He lived by one simple rule: work like there's no tomorrow. Be the best at what you do. For the king of pop, that wasn't just a motivational poster, it was life. We're getting into the mindset of a legend here, and I'm curious, which of these lessons is hitting home for you the most? Is it the power of belief, studying the greats, or this insane work ethic? Let me know in the comments. And if you're getting value from this breakdown of what it really takes to achieve something special, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're about to get into how being different was his ultimate superpower. Lesson 4, embrace your unique identity and never fear being different. In a world that is constantly pushing us to conform, to fit in, to follow the leader, Michael Jackson's career is a masterclass in the explosive power of being different. He was told by those close to him, "Don't be afraid to be different." He took that advice and turned it into his personal philosophy. He knew his uniqueness wasn't a bug, it was the entire operating system. He knew early on that his obsessive drive set him apart. He knew that wanting greatness on that scale would attract pressure to be more normal, to dial it back, to compromise. Instead of giving in, he reframed it. He decided it was not just okay, but necessary to be that driven. This mindset became a psychological shield, protecting his creativity from the doubt and criticism of the outside world. You can see this in every artistic choice he made. He didn't just sing songs, he created sonic worlds. He didn't just make music videos, he directed and starred in what he called short films. That distinction is everything. When MTV was still new and mostly showing white rock bands, the very idea of a 14-minute horror movie music video for Thriller was insane. The record label hated the budget, they didn't get it, but Michael did. He didn't want a promo clip. He wanted a cinematic event that would change the game forever. And he was so committed that he was ready to pay for it himself. He wasn't following a formula, he was creating one. He lived by this belief: I don't care if the whole world is against you, or teasing you, or saying you're not going to make it. Believe in yourself, no matter what. He blended genres, pop, rock, funk, R&B, in ways that broke all the rules. He brought in rock god Eddie Van Halen for a blistering solo on Beat It, a move that shattered the segregated radio formats of the time, and created a song that was undeniably black and undeniably rock and roll. His look was just as radical. The one single white glove, the military jackets, the white socks with black loafers. He wasn't following trends. He was creating iconography. He was building a mythology around himself, piece by piece, that was entirely his own. As his fame grew, his physical appearance became a target of intense speculation. And yet, while privately dealing with the skin disorder vitiligo, he stood his ground publicly. "I'm a Black American. I am proud of my race. I am proud of who I am." His friend and producer Rodney Darkchild once shared a story that says it all. He called him and asked, "Why can't we create new sounds? Someone created a rum, right? Someone created a piano. Why can't we create a new instrument?" That is the mind of a true innovator. He wasn't content to just play with the toys in the box. He wanted to invent new ones. The lesson for us is huge. Your own journey requires the guts to trust your instincts, even when, especially when, it goes against the grain. The pressure to fit in is real, but the rewards for being your authentic self are so much bigger. Michael Jackson's legacy is proof that you don't become a legend by being a better copy of someone else. You become a legend by being the most unapologetic, fully realized version of you. Your difference is your strength. Lesson 5, serve a purpose beyond yourself. For a man who reached a level of fame that's almost impossible to wrap your head around, it would have been easy for Michael's world to become a hall of mirrors, reflecting only himself. He experienced deep loneliness, once admitting, "I am one of the loneliest people on this earth. I cry sometimes because it hurts." But instead of letting that isolation make him bitter or self-absorbed, he did the exact opposite. He expanded his circle of concern to include the entire world, making compassion the ultimate purpose of his extraordinary life. This deep empathy was there from the start. After the infamous Pepsi commercial accident where his hair caught fire, he donated his $1.5 million settlement to establish the Michael Jackson Burn Center. That same year, he donated his entire share of the proceeds from the massive Victory Tour, an estimated $3 to $5 million, to charity. He was deeply impacted by the suffering he saw on his world tours. Being a world traveler, I'm touched and moved by everything that happens, especially to children. It gets me emotionally sick. This wasn't just talk. In 1985, he co-wrote "We Are the World" with Lionel Richie, an anthem that brought together the biggest stars in music and raised over $63 million for famine relief. His personal development wasn't just about his art, it was about his heart. He made it a habit to give hundreds of tickets at every concert to underprivileged kids from local hospitals and orphanages. He'd often visit these hospitals personally with no cameras around, just to tell stories to sick children. He turned his home, Neverland Ranch, into a fantasy land for thousands of kids suffering from illness or poverty, giving them a day of pure joy. In 1992, he created the Heal the World Foundation. It airlifted 46 tons of supplies to war-torn Sarajevo, funded drug and alcohol abuse education, and paid for a Hungarian child's liver transplant. By 2000, the Guinness Book of World Records recognized him for supporting 39 different charities, a record for a pop star. It's estimated that he donated over $500 million in his lifetime, though the true figure is likely much higher since he often gave anonymously, believing real charity is giving from the heart without taking credit. His music became the messenger. Songs like Heal the World, Earth Song, and Man in the Mirror weren't just catchy tunes. They were pleas for unity, environmentalism, and personal responsibility. The message of Man in the Mirror was his whole philosophy in a nutshell. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. This final lesson is maybe the most important. Michael Jackson teaches us that real, lasting success isn't measured by what you get, but by what you give. Your personal growth is incomplete if it's all about you. It finds its highest purpose in service. His journey shows that with great talent comes great responsibility to use your platform to lift people up. He dedicated his life to creating magic, but his ultimate goal was to heal. So there you have it, 5 lessons from the life and mind of the king of pop. First, believe it into existence. Build your success in your mind with such conviction that the world has no choice but to catch up. Second, study the masters to become a master. Stand on the shoulders of giants, absorb their wisdom, then synthesize it into something all your own. Third, outwork everyone. Talent is the entry fee. Greatness is paid for in sweat, repetition, and the refusal to settle for good enough. Fourth, embrace what makes you different. Don't hide your quirks. They're the source code of your genius. That's your real power. And finally, make your mission bigger than yourself. Channel your success into service. True fulfillment isn't found in what you get, but in what you give. These 5 principles aren't separate tricks. They're a system. His belief gave him the confidence to study. His studies informed his work ethic. His work ethic brought his unique vision to life. And his compassion gave that vision a soul. Michael Jackson's story is the ultimate proof that a legend isn't something you're born as, but something you build. It's a conscious, awe-inspiring process of shaping your mind, honing your craft, and dedicating your life to a purpose. He told us to start with the man in the mirror, and he gave us the ultimate blueprint for how to do it. Thank you for joining me for this breakdown. What was your biggest takeaway from Michael Jackson's journey? Share it in the comments. I'd love to read your thoughts. And if you're getting value from this breakdown of what it really takes to achieve something special, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're about to get into how being different was his ultimate superpower.